Hey guys, I'm going to be doing a brush decluttering video right now. I've actually already done this. I'm just going to be showing you what I got rid of and what I am keeping. And I don't mean like chucking when I say get rid of, I mean putting in bins and storing. So, because here's the deal. I like shopping for makeup brushes. Love it. Shopping for makeup brushes and shopping for foundation, I will buy all of it. But I don't need to. And what I've discovered just recently actually was that, shoes, purses, scarves, probably hats. Those are things that you can have. The more you have, the nicer your stuff looks. If you have a ton of shoes, your shoes look good for a really long time because you're not wearing them all the time. Makeup brushes are kind of the opposite of that for me because the more brushes that I have, the dirtier they seem to get. I like to clean my brushes after every use because I'm not an animal. But if I have like 30 different blending brushes on hand, you know what I do with the dirty one? I set it aside. And just recently in the cupboard under the bathroom sink, I found a little plastic bin full of a bunch of makeup brushes from around Christmas time that were dirty. And I was like, oh, that's where those went. Because I just like shoved them and put them away so I didn't have to think about it. So I decided then I need to streamline, I need to edit my collection here. So I took the brushes that I like the most, the ones that I reach for the most. Those are the ones that I kept. The ones that I'm going to show you first are the ones that I have put in bins to store. Some of these I don't, do I actually know? Actually, all of these I like. Well, not entirely. You'll learn more as we go along. But a lot of them I like. Some of them might be limited edition and I don't want to use them anymore. Some of them might be old and not workable, but I am like too weird and I can't throw them away. And some I don't know. What? So I'm going to show you what I got rid of first. Now, almost all of my MAC brushes are now in storage. Almost all of them. I have a few set aside, but most of them are in storage. I rubber banded them and I just put them in bins. So I have, this one just fell out. I have a bunch of eye brushes here. Now, it's not that I don't like some of these. See, this one is the 263, this angled brush. This just fell out. And I was like, oh, you got rid of that? That's just silly because you love that brush. But I have another brush that's an angled brush that I just happen to like more. And I made myself go, you only need like 2 angled brushes. You don't need more than that. So it got stored. So in my MAC eye brush rubber band thing here, I'm just going to unrubber band this. And I'm going to have to rubber band it all over again. I have a bunch of eye brushes. Let's see what I got. You can kind of see I have all of these here. So all of my split fiber MAC brushes, the ones that are synthetic on one side, natural on the other, stored. Those are ones that I will grab when I have nothing else clean. This brush from MAC, see I'm looking at, this is the 288. This is actually a really nice under eye concealer brush in storage. My MAC, what is the 224? Yeah, whatever. I don't know. This is a no for me. It's always been a no for me. It's good for a couple things. Some people like it. We'll talk more about that later someday. My 217s that I love so much that I dye brown because I hate white bristled brushes. Those are in storage because I have other blending brushes that I like more. So a lot of these, a spoolie brush I don't need because I have another one that I like. This Fan mascara brush because I have another one that I'm trying to use. I put this in storage. So you can see that some of these are just because I want to make myself use other brushes. I also noticed a few years ago that the quality of MAC's brushes started to really decline. Some of the last eye brushes that I got were obviously cut into shape, and these aren't like holiday special ones. These are ones that were just purchased at the store, and they're so obviously, they're scratchy. They're not soft, and no. Now all of their brushes have gone synthetic, so I don't know, can't get those anymore anyway. Face brushes. This one I actually highly recommend. This is the 161. This is a really nice brush from MAC. I love this for foundation. It's great for something like face and body. It's great for their airbrush foundation if you want to apply it with a brush, because you can do that. It's really nice for skincare. But I'm putting it away. And as I'm going, I'm like, why? Don't do that to yourself. I love that brush. But I just made myself put it away. The once, what is this? The 189? Remember this guy? This was like from a long time ago. Just because it's not made anymore. And it's a cool looking brush. But honestly, that's funky shape. And I've never really found a good use for it. This thing, the 163 I reviewed a long time ago, it was a piece of crap. Hated that brush. My MAC paddle brushes, the 190 and the 193 in storage, simply because I have another one that I like more, and I don't need two of those flat paddle foundation brushes out. I have some powder brushes here. Anything with white bristles, gone. I don't like trying to keep them clean. It annoys me. I have more white bristled brushes coming up that I'll be showing you. All of my MAC 109s, I have like 3 of these, are in storage because they've just started to bleed and they shed a lot. So they're just old and really should just be thrown out, but I can't bring myself to do it yet. So they're just going in storage. This big powder brush from MAC, which is nice, but I have another brush that looks almost just like it, that's softer and does a better job for what I like that brush for, which is loose powder. This one, I loved this brush. This was a 134. I was so excited when I bought this because this is one of their like expensive brushes. And when I first bought it, I was like, oh, yay, years ago. But now it's just not as soft anymore. You could probably use it for body stuff, but into storage it goes. These guys, because why? Yeah. In here, I have all of my duo fiber brushes, including these ones, which aren't that bad. This is kind of an interesting shape for some products, but away they go because I just generally, and this is a nice foundation brush. This is the MAC 130, really nice foundation brush, but I picked my favorite foundation brushes and I'm like, I don't need more than the ones that I like the most. So there you go. More of the split fiber brushes, these things. This thing, which I don't even know why I bought. Well, I know why I bought this. The 107 SH. I was shopping. The manager that I was talking to, really nice guy, was like, "Check this out. You should look at this brush." And I'm like, I'm always down to buy a brush, so I bought it, and it is really cool for certain things, but it's impractical for me as far as like, this is like maybe a travel brush for me because of the short handle, but it's impractical to keep with all my other brushes just because it's so short. I'd have to like reach into a jar and dig it. This thing that I bought and then almost bought again because I was at the time buying so many brushes that I actually forgot that I'd ordered this, and I had it in my shopping cart on Macy's.com when it showed up at my house right before I clicked purchase, and I went, oh, maybe I should think about my shopping habits because I totally forgot that I bought that. That's in storage now. Bye-bye. Okay, let's talk about eye brushes, other eye brushes that I have here. These are just sort of going to be a smattering of different eye brushes. From all different places. And the way that I did this when I was going through my collection, I took all of my brushes and I sorted them by size and shape, and like this, these are blending brushes in this shape, these are crease brushes, these are like lay down brushes, these are blah blah blah. And I looked at them and I went, okay, how many like blending brushes do you need? And what are your favorite ones? What are the ones that you will reach for if they're clean? Like every time. And even if I liked other ones, I was trying to limit myself to however many I've got here. It's not that many. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all I have of the traditional like 217 or 224 shaped blending brush, because I don't need more than that. And if those are dirty, then it's time for me to clean my brushes, is what that means. These are some funky shapes actually here, and I actually like this one from Estee Lauder, but really hard to clean. Hard to clean. I don't know. And this was actually one that I used to use when I would do my foundation, if I had it around the hairs. This is just a brush that I cut with some hair trimmers. It helps to kind of scratch the product away from the hair follicles so I don't have foundation kind of sitting up against my beard. But I have a different brush that I use for that now. And I use the same exact technique. I just grabbed a different brush and I shaved it with some trimmers. It just works, I think, a little bit better than that one. So I don't know why I'm not throwing that away, but I'm not. I have some kind of foundation brushes here. I have a few from Real Techniques that I just don't use. A lot of my synthetics get shoved into storage because I don't like cleaning them. They don't clean as easily as a natural bristled brush and they take longer to dry. So that's just my own personal thing. Here are some that are not in rubber bands. Let's go through these one by one. I have my Kabuki brushes in storage. I love this one from Aveda, but this is also synthetic. And I also have this one from Estee Lauder. Really pretty. And I bought this knowing that I wouldn't use it. I just wanted it because it's so pretty. And, oh, it's so soft. But white bristles, no. Synthetic, no. Impossible to clean. Takes forever to dry. I just generally don't use them. This is one from Kiko that I just wanted to buy because I loved the shape. And I think I used it once. I have this guy. Oh, God, I love this brush. This is the Marc Jacobs, the Face 3. Oh, cream foundation, powder foundation, liquid foundation. This is such a nice brush, but I can't get it clean. It refuses to clean and it drives me kind of crazy. And it's synthetic, it's dense. It's just too much of a pain in the butt. Same thing with my Besame brushes. Now, there's two reasons why I'm storing these, because I love these brushes, and I did a video about these brushes, and I was like, oh my gosh, these are amazing brushes, and they are, and I love them. The reason that I'm storing them is because I don't use them, and the reason that I don't use them is because I like to clean a brush after every use, and this is just it just takes too long to dry. It's just too long to dry. I still recommend it. If, well, a lot of these brushes I would recommend. I still like it. Same thing with this. This is synthetic as well. And it just takes too damn long to dry. But it does such a good job. They both do a good job. These things, this one and these two, are really, really good brushes. And I hate washing them. And I won't use them dirty. So then I have white bristled brushes. I just don't like them. As they get old, they yellow. If, the ones that, and it's funny because I look over here at the brushes that I kept and I have two white bristled brushes that I kept. You'll see. And I have them because they're awesome and they're cheap and they're awesome. So I use them for everything and they're awesome and cheap. Now I have some powder brushes. I have some Japanese ones. I have some Goss ones here that I just don't use that often. I have a lot of other Goss ones that I do use. I have some of the Joan Collins ones here that I like just fine. But I believe when I looked at the website, they were all discontinued and I just wanted to keep them because it's like that sort of collectible thing. I have two of the Joan Collins brushes still out that I love, that I will not put away because I just use them too often. And that's this bundle. And then this is large powder brushes. I have the Louise Young LY07, which is very similar to that MAC one that I was showing you earlier, wherever it is. This one, very similar. But I have other brushes that do the job better, so I didn't need it out anymore. Even though I just felt it on my skin and I second guessed myself. I was like, oh, that's so soft. That's much nicer than the MAC brush. I have this It Cosmetics weird thing. And just some powder brushes. The Estee Lauder, this is really nice. They still make this. This is the powder foundation brush. Oh my gosh, this is a nice brush. Oh, why did you put this away? This is such a nice brush. I don't have anything like this. No. So that's everything that I stored. I've had over the years some brushes that were cheaper, things that came in kits that I just flat out got rid of. I actually have some, as I look up in the sky, I have a kit that I use specifically for doing face charts. I just realized that right now, this very second. And I have, hang on. And I'm not going to go through the line and show you everything, but I have a bunch of these, and these don't get washed with more than alcohol. And they're often shorter, denser, scratchier. I have this thing from Royal and Lang Nickel that, ooh, hello, powder. Really good for foundation. I mean on a face chart. This Kiko one, really good for contour foundation work on a face chart. So I have my face chart brushes in there, which tend to be kind of a mix of art brushes, cheap makeup brushes. Anything that's really scratchy works really well for a face chart because you can really kind of blend the product into the paper. And anything that's generally smaller than you need it to be. You don't want to use like a blending brush on a face chart because you'll just make a mess. You want to blend, you want a fine, smaller brush to kind of move the products around. Now let's talk about the brushes that I kept. So these are all like my wet dry brushes. I have foundation brushes. These are the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. Yes, this is the foundation brush. This is the foundation brush. If you like a foundation brush like this and not like a paddle, that's the one. If you want something that's way softer, and I don't think this is made anymore because I think these were all redone. This is the Goss 13. Oh, this is a 109 from MAC, but like good, like really good. And I like the 109 for foundation, but that is so soft and dense and it works so good. My paddle brush that I have is from Estee Lauder. I got this specifically years ago. I'd had the MAC one, but I didn't really like it. I was watching a video by Lisa Eldridge and she used this. And I went, oh, I like how she's using it, or maybe I should think about that. And I liked the shape. It's a little thicker than the MAC paddle brush, and I just like it more. So that's why it's out. I have my scratchy clean up your hair brush. These brushes I got from Crystal in Austria, my friend Crystal. These are from Ebelin, I believe, Ebelin. And I don't know. I think that the last time she sent me one, she said that these weren't made anymore. They were discontinued. This is just a synthetic, really nice cream, foundation, blush, bronzer, whatever. This is an awesome, like all around, you can do everything with that brush except maybe eyes. My two white bristled brushes that I have are from Zoeva. This is the 114, and I have two of them. This is amazing for cream products. This is amazing for concealer. This is amazing for highlighter. This is amazing for foundation. This is just, it is a perfect shape. It's not too big. I just love this brush. And I don't know if this one's still made anymore or not. If it is, I should get more because that's a highly recommended brush, at least from me. For me. Yeah. So it's highly recommended from me, for me. I recommend that brush for myself. Let's talk about powder brushes that are smaller. So these are like blush brushes, which is impossible for me to say. I have the Louise Young LY06. Really nice. Oh, that's so soft. Really nice, just a plain shape. This would be a good bronzing brush. I also have this one from Bisotto, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It's a Japanese brand. Super soft, really nice, because sometimes you want a soft face brush. Not all the times, but sometimes. Some of the times, but not all of the times. I have the Wayne Goss whatever brush. This was like his really softest brush ever. It feels like a bunny foot. Just like stomping on your face. And then the Goss 02 right here. So these are kind of my highlighter, blush, depending on the products. I also have this, which is a nice bronzer brush. This takes place, that MAC one that I showed you earlier, this one that I said, what is this, the 130, 135, 139, 138. Going once, going twice. This is essentially the same shape. This has been kind of mashed up, so that's why it looks like that. But a much better brush. This is the Goss holiday brush, I think. Right? Really nice bronzer. You can also use it with powder. And then I have, let's see, this is another Bisciotto angled brush. And then my favorite blush brush, which I used in a video recently, is from Coastal Scents. This is the BRC N24. Scratchy as hell. Doesn't feel so great. Oh, but it picks up product and it blends like a dream, yo. What I was gonna say, girl. Gruel. It is gruel, and I love it. And that's my, I hope that's not too loud in the microphone. That's my blush brushes. Let's talk about powder brushes, and then we'll talk about eye brushes. So I have this one. This is also another Goss one, and this was, I think, another holiday thing or something. I use this for blush, but this is a really good loose powder, pressed powder brush, as is this, which is also a Goss one. These are all the older Goss ones. This is the 15, the 14 that I love so much. And I always tell people when this was around, and again, I don't know if this is around anymore. Somebody fill me in because I'm lazy and I don't feel like looking. Anything you use a fan brush for, use this brush. Anything you use a fan brush for, use this brush. Let's say it again. Anything you use a fan brush for, use this brush. This is great for loose powder. This is great for blush. This is great for pressed powder, whatever. This is just a good brush. I really like it. I also have this jumbo fan brush from Coastal Scents. This is the BRC N36. I've had these for years. I don't know if any of these are around anymore. I like this brush for like body work, if you're doing any kind of powder on the body or whatever like that. It's a bit big for the face, but it's really nice to cover like a whole big old area. And unlike wherever that Besame was, which would also be excellent for that, this washes up in a snap and dries really, really fast. This is the first Real Techniques brush that I got. I don't know if it's got a number or what it's called. It's dented, the label is worn off, and the little rubbery stuff is all rubbed off of this one. I love this brush. This is a really nice powder brush. This is also a good bronzing brush. So those are good things, and we like those. Let's talk about eye brushes. So I'm going to start with my blending brushes. And, you know, when I said I had 4, I wasn't lying, but there's other brushes that I use as blending brushes, and I also have a number of crease brushes, which I use for blending. They just happen to be more pointed. These are the ones that are not. So I have 2 from Goss. This is the 06. This is a MAC 217, but way better. I have one from Real Techniques, this one right here. I actually would get more of these because this is a really nice concealer brush. This is a really nice blending brush for eyes. It's just a good brush. I also have a synthetic one from Elamasca. I don't know when the number is, or if it's got one. I think they only make like the one though. And again, can see anything with creams. The synthetics are gonna work really good with cream products. I have my crease brushes. I have, let's pull these out here. I have 2 from Goss. I have the 03 and I have the 04. I'm hoping that I'm in focus here, but I know my depth of field is a little shallow with this lens. So as I edit this, I'm probably gonna go, oh look, you were blurry the whole time. Maybe if I do this, and then you can just freeze frame on the one that works. I have those. I have 3 from Louise Young. These are quite nice, and the handles are super long, which I love. This is the LY38, the LY38B, and the LY38A. These are all basically the same shape. They are just sort of different sizes. These are the 2 Joan Collins brushes that I have, and I have these. These are, I think they are eye brushes. I have these because they remind me so much of my Shu Uemura 5R Kolinsky Sable Hairbrush that is so good. This is for those of you who are light-handed. This is a detail blending brush. So nice. The Joan Collins ones are very, very similar. They're just a little bit longer. Oh, I'm not done. I was about ready to put that away. I have my like lay down brushes, which I also use as blending brushes because I am just that light-handed. I have and oh gosh, the numbers are all worn off on these. I have some MAC ones. These are some MAC ones. These are some MAC ones, yo. These are actually originally white. What is this? Is this the 239 right? This is originally white. Really, I use this for blending. It's a nice lay down brush. I also have, this might be the 242, this one. And then I have its bigger version. I'm looking at myself in the viewfinder trying to see where I'm in focus. Yeah. I also have the Wayne Goss 18. And I have this one from Bisyoto, which is basically the same as the MAC 242, if that's the right number. And if it's not like that one at all. I have some sort of smudgy brushes. Smudgy. I have this one from Goss. This is the 16. Love this brush. These are brushes that I use to sort of buff out the edges of a look. I might use them for concealer as well. You might do an all-over wash with these. It just depends. This is another from Shuamura. This is the 15 Kolinsky hairbrush. Love. So nice. And then one from MAC. This is the 195. Look at that. It's got the number on it. I don't do the like put your nail polish on the thing of your brushes so it lasts. I just don't care. So yeah, the 195, really nice for concealer. So that's not really a buffing out brush. I don't know why that's in there, but it's there. I'll put that with the lay down brushes. How's that sound? Now let's talk about lip brushes, brow brushes, liner brushes, all those kind of things. I have some pencil brushes here. I got rid of my MAC 219s because they're a little bit big and they're a little bit scratchy at this point. So I have two from Goss, both the same, the 05s right here, very similar to what did I say? 119 from MAC? Wait, 219 from MAC. Just smaller. Also the Louise Young LY13, same, very similar, just smaller. Also from Wayne Goss, I have the 07. This is a really nice smudging out liner on the under, like just around the eye here. You know what I mean? Really good for that. And then also this one from Bisyoto, which I don't know what the numbers of these are, but it's similar to the Wayne Goss one. It's very similar shape. I have a Goss eyebrow brush. This is the 21, which I have in my sort of actually in my like liner pile. But I also have this as a Coastal Scents cheap. This came in a kit. This is an angled brush. And I have it out instead of my MAC ones because it's just a razor sharp angle. Really nice. Really good for liner. And it's a bit big. So if you're doing like a winged liner, I like a bigger brush because I don't have to draw I don't have to like, you have to have a steady hand. It's a little harder with one that's like nice and sharp but long. You just kind of have to place it and then flick and then you're fine. And then for any kind of detail lining, I have the Louise Young LY24 that I've had for years. I had a liner brush like that from MAC that I really liked, but it's since sort of just all splayed and fallen apart and everything. So I don't know if splayed is a word. Splayed. Now my lip brushes, I have the MAC 214, 231. What is this? This little brush? This little thing with the little white tip? Oh, they're eye brushes. These are my favorite lip brushes, and I've talked about that for years. They're my favorite lip brushes. I have a bunch of those. And I have this one from Smith. This is the 302, and I have this out specifically because I haven't really used it that much, and I want to give it a try. Brow brushes. I have a spoolie brush here. It's just from Wayne Goss. I have this 267 from MAC, which apparently isn't made anymore. I looked it up. I thought that it was, and it's not, because I would totally recommend this to anybody. I think this is actually to stamp your liner on, like a stencil, like tap, tap, and then, oh, glasses. But I love it for brows. Love it for brows. I also have this. I have a lot of Goss brushes here. This is the Wayne Goss 22. Little thingy with the thingy. Hey. And then this is my mascara fan brush. I told you I set that MAC one aside to try to use this. This is from Sephora. This is the Pro Lash 34. It's kind of curved. Can you see that it has like a curve to it? A little bit of a curve. And I thought, I don't know. I just wanted to try it. Because I like the MAC one, but it does go kind of straight in. But this is denser too. And I might end up liking that MAC one more. Because this might just be a little bit too much. Too many hairs. Too many notes. Too many notes. And that's it. That's my brush edit thing. So I'm going to rubber band all these together and let me know what you thought. I honestly like this more. And one of the things that I've noticed is that after I use a brush, now that I don't have so many, do you know what I do with it? I clean it right away. And I think it's because I know that I only have a few. So I need to make sure that it's clean and dry for the next time I want to use it. So maybe it is kind of like the opposite of shoes, but that's me. That's Deborah. And I've said that in a video like 3 or 4 times maybe, I think. Maybe I always cut it out. Let me know if you know what that's from. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. I hope that this was fun and informative and most of all, in focus. And yeah,